Woo! Welcome, everyone, to this night's Skeptic Bible Study, episode 3, A Whole Lot of Babel, where we take a critical yet fun look at the book some people tell us is good. So won't you join us as we tip over a tower? So before we begin, I'm going to start by going over the specific Bible we'll be reading, along with some helpful category marks. Categories, you say? Why, yes, I do. You see, we're going to be reading from the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, an entire King James Bible, lovingly fawned over by a skeptic who decided he would add his own notations. These are little flagpoles of sanity put in use to remind us that, hey, maybe slavery is evil, including categories like absurdity, injustice, and cruelty, but also a good amount of intolerance, contradictions, and conflicts with science or history. Now, that doesn't mean it's not packed full of misogyny, false prophecy, and some questionable biblical family values. We won't skip the good parts the Bible has, only that these passages seem far fewer in number than any priest or pastor seems to suggest. So without further ado, won't you come join the Skeptic crew? How are you doing tonight, James?
I'm doing pretty good. I've just been prepping for my debate that's going to be later today at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, modern day debate. I'll be debating T-Jump, but decided to take a little bit of time off from that to study the Bible.
And that's at the great modern day debate.
Absolutely. One of the best channels on YouTube. So we're going to be talking about a real tower today. So is that going to be the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
I wish that would be
the Sears Tower?
Tower. The Sears Tower, that would also be a good tower. You see, apparently
they do exist.
Yeah, exactly. At least those towers exist, right? So they're already on a higher footing.
Yeah, it's like Ken Hovind's rock, because for life to come from rocks is still more plausible than his God, because at least we know rocks are real.
Exactly.
There we go.
There we go. And okay, so we left off chapter 9 with Noah ending his journey and finally kicking it after 100 or so years. Or no, was he? I think he was much older. Was he? He was 600, right?
He was
He was one of
600
the
when the flood started. So, and that was about almost a year. So he'd been about 601 when he got off the ark after the birds, the dove, and the whole debacle with that. And then, he planted a vineyard. He drank a little bit too much, and there was that incident in the tent.
That's right. We had a little peekaboo in the tent, and everyone kind of freaked out because I guess they shouldn't have put a blanket on him, because if they put a blanket on him, he just would have woken up and he wouldn't have known any better. I feel like this is just bad planning.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just got to wing it, right? There's no
sometimes you just gotta wing it.
You just gotta wing it. And this is the one family that God picked to save, so they must be doing something right.
Yeah, he always seems to pick one family and then things get fucked up. He also did that with Adam and Eve, but we keep on. I mean, things can't possibly go wrong this time. We went
We
through
might see
all.
the same thing in Sodom. He might do the same thing. We'll see, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be your favorite chapter of the Bible.
I know. Obviously, nothing could go wrong. I hear that Sodom and Gomorrah is a happy place. That nothing could go wrong there either. So
It's like one big gay pride parade all the time, right? Yeah.
So you're saying it's San Francisco?
Well, could be Key West.
And this is also, I want to do a shout out because Jim asked when we were going to do another Bible study. And I said I wasn't sure, and then I did one in the middle of the night. So, Jim, I heart you. We'll do another Bible study while you're awake.
We were planning on doing it earlier, but we got some things popped up. So yeah, life happens. We're not God, so we can't.
I know. We're not omniscient, but apparently neither is this God. Just want to point that out. So far, he is either not omniscient or he has to ask where people are a lot.
Or he's just playing along. He's just playing dumb. He's playing Kent Hovind,
Using more SpongeBob logic, though. SpongeBob logic is marine biology logic. I'm returning that around.
I mean, it does humanize Yahweh because, we all fuck up. We all make mistakes in life, and so does Yahweh. Hey, Tony.
Yes.
So does Yahweh.
Hey, Tony.
He needs a mulligan every now and again, right?
Yeah, not only is he kind of human, but he seems to mess up a lot. That seems to be when people aren't being begatten, they're being messed up. Or messing up his divine plan.
The Bible is so exciting. There's always somebody that needs to be killed or civilizations and towns to be leveled. He's a busy dude.
He's a busy dude. Okay, so without further ado, Noah's sons and I assume daughters, but they don't like to talk about them, are in control. This is our take 2. I imagine nothing can go wrong. Here, now these
one
are
family
the
again. Let the incest begin.
Yeah, exactly. Let the incest party begin. I don't know how else they would come about. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham Sandwich, and Japheth. And onto them were sons born after the flood. There we go. So we are into the descendants of Japheth. I'd like to point out here, which I find very interesting, that we've come all this way so far, and this just really seemed to bore the author of the annotation. He's like, what the hell? So let's see. We might be about to be in the midst of a lot of begatting. Let's find out. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Mag, and Maddy, and Javin, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras, and the sons of Gomer, and Ashkenaz, and Rippeth, and Togarmath, and the sons of Javin, and Elish, and Tarish. Oh my goddess, is this like a Christmas list? Is this how Santa Claus was made? What the?
I don't know why they're taking the time to just list these names for us when they're not telling us anything about them, just that they existed.
Yeah, there's no context at all. And hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert. Wow, I didn't think we'd get people joining us at almost 5 a.m., but
I know. Welcome
that Bible just draws people in. They can't stay away.
I don't know if it's early or it's late right now.
Some people might just be getting up.
Woohoo!
All right, that's more begatting, Amy.
Okay, we're about to end the sons of da-da-da. By these were the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. And the sons of Ham Sandwich, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan. I feel like nothing can go wrong with that name. It's just a nice name. I feel like nothing can go wrong there. Just making prophecy myself. And the sons of, I'm going to go with Cush. Seba, Havilah, Sabbath, and Rama, and Savik, and the sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, where it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And see, this makes sense. We keep on forget. James and I are sitting on here on Eastern time zone, and we're like, oh, that's right. Yeah, there's other.
Where's Tony
people.
from? Where is it? 8:50 p.m.
Somewhere where it's not a flat Earth. Gonna start more battles. Though I would love to have a flat earther. I think I did have a flat earther actually come on my trailer channel at one point. I think he was gonna try. He started trying to be more elegant, and he was like more about the Fibonacci sequence, and then it just slowly. I looked on his channel and I noticed some flat Earth things, and I was like, ooh. He didn't even take me quite down his own rabbit hole, but it's always fun.
That's like flagpoles of insanity.
It's like the Russian nesting dolls.
Flagpoles of insanity.
And woohoo! Hi, down there in Australia, or down there, up there. What did we say? And he was a mighty hunter before the Lord, where it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Is this saying that he's a mighty in front of the Lord, or that he's challenging the Lord? I guess just mighty for the Lord.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel.
So this is just a few generations after the flood, and I'm going to guess that the Babylonians did not have the Abrahamic God.
Yeah, they probably had their own pantheon.
So this is just a couple generations later, and they've already forgot about the guy who just flooded the earth. Yeah, it's like, yeah, who cares about that guy?
And hi, Andrew. I'm glad that our procrastination actually worked out, or my procrastination, someone's procrastination. Woohoo! Okay. Welcome to apparently the Kingdom of Babel. We have just begun. It's such a lovely kingdom. I feel like nothing can go wrong. What a nice name.
I mean, look at it and say it's good. It's good.
Okay. And James and Amy looked at it, and we said it was good.
We patted ourselves on the back. Now we just need everybody alive to spend eternity reminding us how good it was.
Yes, we need to get worshipers, and then we can finally have a heaven. And Eric and Akid and Kelnid in the land of Shinar. It so sounds like a little bit Narnia there, but okay. Out of the land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth. I'm just going to say Rehoboth, even though that's not Rehoboth. And Calah, and Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah. The same is a great city. Oh, well, at least it's almost like 2,000-year-old Yelp.
So we've just got off the ark a few generations ago, and they already have enough people to have all these cities. Huh. Go figure. Yeah, they must have been, like rabbits, because it's like we just got off this ark like 40, 50 years ago, and we already need all these cities. Yeah.
And it must have been a real good family reunion, let me tell you.
I mean, these women were just popping babies out by the bushel.
But I want to know, how are they going to live to thousands of years? Out of
I
the
think that's going
land.
to start to go down. Yeah.
I know. I think that's.
As we get closer to modern times, it has to get closer to reality because, more ability to prove things wrong.
Yeah, by the time we get to Jesus, they're dying at like 30, 35. They're living apparently just like you'd think they would with a low amount of medicine. And resin between Nineveh and Cala, the same as a great city. We have a great city, good, okay. And Mizum, here we go. Here's our drinking buddy. And Mizum begat Ludum, and Anam, and Liam, and Nephitim, and Patharism, and Cassiphalum, out of whom came Philotism. I like how they just tried to squeeze that in there. Like they had to add the little
brackets.
brackets around there. They couldn't just say that. And Caphator, and Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heath, and the Jezebut, and the Amorit, and the Gurasit, and the Hivit, and the Arakite, and the Sinnet. I understand now. I was like, how could it be this boring? We've been through so much.
No, okay. This is worse. This is worse. Yep.
This is a shopping list of humans. And the Arabdite, and the Zimmerite, and the Hamath, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the Canaanites lived happily ever after. The end. Oh, no. Okay.
And now that was a complete waste of time. And we're now left with just a bunch of names on paper that mean absolutely nothing to us. But
yeah. I mean, if I was a script writer, these people had no backstories. And they had no stories.
Yeah, just names on paper. Oh.
Names on paper. Adam and Eve really had it, I like it when they go first person. They really do have two modes. It's either first and it really starts from the beginning. You see this just schizophrenic dichotomy from Genesis, where you have this just very vague 6 days and everything gets done and there's nothing gets wrong. And then it just starts over. And then it's just like, yeah, I think that went a little bit too well. Let's try adding humans. And then he adds all this shit. And we either have exposition mode or we have first person mode in which everybody's fucking up everything.
It's different authors over different times, and they're seeing the mistakes the other guys make, and they're trying to, fit their version of it in, and what can they add? And it's a big, game of telephone, but worse.
Yeah, I'll be interested basically to see the New Testament and just the different books, because I feel like we're gonna see the very different separations.
Well, it helps if you go through it not in the order the Bible gives, but in the order that they were written, because it's different, and then you can see the evolution much more clearly that way.
Yeah, and especially since there's also multiple Bibles, multiple translations. All right, let's go and begat.
We're down to Ham, I think.
We're down to Ham. Were we through all that? Okay.
I thought we were.
Just if you're playing along, we're playing a drinking game. Really, not really. Every time they say begat at this time, though, if anyone gets alcohol poisoning, we blame the Bible. When you get to the hospital, say the Bible sent me here.
Now, what you might want to do is just rewind the video and just go through all that like 4 or 5 more times, all the names and everything. That way it really sinks in.
Yeah, I will say it's so funny. No priest goes up and says that during their sermon. And today we're going to speak about a passage that I think is transformative, that I think really gets people out of hard spaces. So what I'm trying to say is Mizum begat Lodom, and Anum begat Linum, and Nephilim, and Polytheism, and Calicinum, out of whom Philistum and okay.
I mean, I'm almost just waiting for Yahweh to just come in and start killing people. At least that was, something.
Yeah, exciting. So sometimes it's very R-rated. Other times, I think this is too boring even for PBS. I think.
I mean, yeah, we just got through with genocide. Now, yeah, the descendants of Ham.
He couldn't. He couldn't invent the comma. Had to squeeze everything in. And yeah, and I think we were here. And to the broader of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Grar onto Gaza, as thou goest onto Sodom and Gomorrah and Edom and Zebum, even onto Lasha. Even onto Lasha? Holy.
Even, yeah. Wow. I feel like we should have music playing since you just said Sodom.
I know. Well, it's so funny. Every time, I think we said this in the last stream, it's like being in a Marvel comic and coming back to New York. Coming back to New York, every once in a while you come across like something that is so still in use that it's so easy to say, like Gaza or Sodom. So it's interesting to see which words have actually entered our culture, and it's because so much of this, it's like, why would any of these? And it makes sense. All these people don't do anything. We don't know anything about them.
No, they're just placeholders.
Exactly.
For the script. Well, I guess they scribes didn't feel like making up history of what happened during that time, so they just wrote the names. Too much work.
And not only that, and the Christians and maybe even the Jews will hate me for it, but can we just edit it? Just chuck out all of the bad stuff. Just why do you need any of that? Unless it makes the narrative work, it's not. Excuse me. It's not needed. And any professional scriptwriter or amateur scriptwriter, someone writing a book, they will say, I have this character? Do they do anything in the rest of the story? If not, are they important? If not, chuck them.
It's like a movie about Bob and Mary, and in the middle of the movie, we're going to spend an hour with Bob talking about the history of the evolution of the automobile transmission.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with anything.
Just tell us the main. Every once in a while, it gets very detailed. I feel like we were in deep with Noah, like that. I feel like the Noah story was the longest, most detailed one. I think Adam and Eve, and then I think Noah really was detailed. Other than that, we've just been getting old and popping out babies.
Yeah, lots of them apparently.
Lots
of cities for all these people.
All right, Sodom and Gomorrah. So now we are entering into the descendants of Ham Sandwich, and this apparently is about to defy science. So let's find out.
Bring on Ken Ham.
Bring him on. Okay, these are the sons of Ham Sandwich, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and their nations. On to Shem. I feel like I should make that Shen and make it like League of Legends. Also the father of all children of Ebar, the brother of Jabbeth, the elder. Even to him were children born. Even to him were children born.
Even
that
him?
was so nice.
Even him? Wow.
I'm glad they went into a very detailed backstory where they said that he couldn't have children, but then they're like, boom, even him. The children of Shem. They're making jokes for me. This isn't fair. The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashar, as you are, as Arphix and Lud and Aram, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash, and Araphaxad begat Sela, and Sela begat Ebar. Ooh. Begatting. That's a double begat. And on to Eber.
15-yard penalty.
And on to Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Amond, and Sheleph, and Hasmath, and Jerah, and Haradaram, and Uzal, and come on, you're making these jokes for me. Come on, Bible, and Dickalil, and Obal, and Abimel, and Sheba, and Oprah, and Havilah, and Joab, and all these were the sons of Joktan. And they were dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest on to Sephar, a mount of the east. Whew.
Very profound, Amy.
Yeah, I feel like the wisdom is transporting into me.
It's coming upon you like the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I feel like I feel bad for the people popping out babies. That's a lot of names. It's a lot of naming. We've dwelt in the east. Okay. The descendants of Shem. These are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Oh, wow. This chapter was amazing.
Well, I mean, when daylight breaks, we need to get on the phone. We need to call the history department at all the colleges and tell them, all you guys, you're full of shit. This is the real history.
Honestly, I want to call up Hollywood. They try and make the Noah story into a movie. They try and make the Jesus story into a movie. With that, we need to make...
They did Moses, the Ten Commandments.
Chapter 10, the book of Genesis, the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. This time, it's personal. Okay.
The Yahweh strikes back.
Dun, 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 dun. We got this. And okay, I think we're about to, I don't mean to get too risque, but I think we're coming up to the money shot. So here we are. We made it. We're at chapter 11, the Tower of...
I think somebody's about to get triggered, right? I get that feeling.
I think so.
Somebody's gonna get triggered here. Tall buildings are very tall. They're very triggering. They're microaggression.
Exactly. You can't. And honestly, actually, now that you're saying it, it's about the size. You know, it always comes back down to the size. He's getting he's a little self-conscious. You know what I mean? You can't have a bigger tower than him. That'd be a little awkward.
I mean, didn't someone say that the giants were like 2 miles high? I never heard of that before, but
Ooh.
I thought they would just be like 15 foot tall, but 2 miles high.
Hey, I was betting they were gonna survive the flood, but I guess not. I guess their heads were under, and so
Well, they do come back at some point, as it told us that they were on the earth at that time and later.
okay. So hey, we'll get
They're
sequels
coming
to
back.
Giants.
We don't
We're
know
coming
how,
back.
but they'll be back at some
Okay.
point.
But look, we've stopped boarding. We've got back to absurdity. I've missed good old fashioned absurdity.
Conflicts with history and science and
And
contradictions. There we go.
contradictions. See, we're learning. They're becoming very obvious. The Tower of Babel, and the whole earth was of one language. What could go wrong?
The linguists around the world just start laughing.
I know. This really is insulting, right? Like, we're gonna go through this. But the theists are like, you haven't even gotten through the story. Read the story. Okay. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass. Look how much more interesting the writing was already. What the heck? No more begatting. Stop the begatting. Okay. I'm getting back into it. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. Oh, we're getting construction here. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Oh, well, at least we're getting into scientific technical terms.
Well, this is cutting edge building technique right here. I mean,
Exactly. Slime
and mud bricks. Yep.
Yeah, and this is what beats Yahweh, right?
I think he's going to get triggered by this, but yeah.
And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto the heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered on board upon the face of the whole earth. And I'm going to let my cat in.
So we're at verse 5.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it one more time because I feel like this is the right thing. This is really...
We're getting to the meat and potatoes right here.
This right here is them beginning to build it. And they said, Go to let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto the heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower.
Because he wasn't already there, right?
I was about to say that. Does this not get back to him not being omniscient all the time?
He's got to come down to see what's going on, but he's not going to be happy with what he sees. It's not going to be good. In his words, he saw that it was not good.
Moonlight says hi. Hi, baby. Okay, so, and the Lord, he was just the men builded. I can't blame them, for the spelling. It just always comes off funny. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. And I always find this funny. He's basically saying humans come together, they can do whatever they want.
I mean, they're trying to build a tower to heaven. Yahweh doesn't want to be walking around heaven, see some drunk guy, perched up against a cloud. He doesn't want to put up with that. So he's got to do something about that.
He's got to come down.
Just like when, we tried to launch the space program and that got miraculously shut down because God was like, no, I'm not dealing with that crap. You guys can't come up here. Because he's right up there, right, Amy?
Yeah,
he's right up there.
I would like to understand how they explain that. We have crossed the biblical literalists who aren't flat earthers. I would like to know how we have crossed heaven.
Yeah, why was God so triggered about a tall tower, but the space program and the Hubble telescope that looks up to 13 billion light years away, and you know what they've seen so far? A whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of space, but no Yahweh.
Nobody up here. No deities, no one deity, no three deities, no
Tyrannosaurus Rex, even when you're looking
no Tyrannosaurus.
No, in the nebula you don't see one of those. You just see the same shit we got all over the place. Stars, planets, and a lot of empty space.
A lot of empty space. It's just so funny. I don't get any of this story. He could have stopped this at the beginning. He knew that the tower was coming. He could have stopped it without coming down there. He could have created more rain. I guess he made a pact and was like, no, we can't do. I think after the Noah thing, he was like, well, I'm not going to flood you guys to death.
And then he, sent him that rainbow, the rainbow as a symbol that, you people guys have perverted and used for your own lustful carnal desires. But going on from that, yeah.
And honestly, Robert says God was in the kitchen when it happened. It always seems like it's like he's making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and he's just like, "Oh, this is such a great." Are humans doing something? Hey,
is somebody down there picking up sticks on the wrong day? What the fuck?
And so he has to come down there.
Then Moses, like Dirty Harry, looking at that guy, go ahead, pick up that stick, make my day.
Yeah, well, I think he does lots of veiled threats. We haven't gotten to the New Testament, but he likes either killing or making pacts. He likes throwing praises, and he likes when people begat each other.
And blessings. He blesses a lot. Blesses. Yes. Now, in reality, let's just take a brief moment of sanity here and point out the obvious, that the person who wrote this story, he's looking around. He's like, well, so if one family got off the ark, they would all speak the same language, but we've got everybody has a different language. How did that happen? If one family got off the ark, everybody descended from them, then how do we get multiple languages? I don't know, Amy. What can you think of?
Yeah, can we point out how this is basically an insult to every anthropologist and to the study of anthropology?
Linguistics.
And linguistics. I'm so sorry.
Chomsky.
And to the insult to linguistics, to basically multiple fields of study who collaboratively who would cross-collaborate that this is not how language came to be. This is not how the separation of language came to be.
Well, I mean, it solved the problem for the scribes at the time, so there you go. We came up with a story. This is how it happened.
The story. At least it's more interesting. Not scientific, but yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything really scientific yet. No.
Yes. Is there passages that Christian, because I know that there are Muslims who claim there are scientific passages in the Quran or the Hadith. Do Christians claim that there are scientific passages in the Bible?
Yeah, they do. We're going. I forget where it is, but we're going to get to one where it says God stretched out the heavens, so therefore that's the redshift because God is pushing everything apart. He's stretching everything out. Now, the thing with these predictions is you would never read that passage and think to yourself, oh, the universe must be expanding continuously because that's what the Bible says. No, what they do is they make the observation, hey, the universe is expanding. It's getting bigger. Oh, well, yeah, God said he stretched it out. So there you go.
So they take something extremely vague and say it's the scientific theory.
Yeah, and they make a post hoc thing to explain it away after it's already happened.
See, I would like to read where the passage where the flat earthers get all something about the earth being round.
There's a couple, the circle of the earth.
Or the circle.
Yeah, the circle of the earth. And then it says when the devil tempted Jesus, that he took Jesus up high and showed him all the kingdoms of the world. So if that was a globe, that wouldn't work because you can't go up high and see all the world because, half the world is on the other side of it. You can't see around the corner. So therefore, world would have to be flat.
Oh. God.
Yeah, like things like hand washing. Yeah, they say, oh, there you go. They didn't even know about germs, but God told them to wash their hands. I mean, God also told them that basically you can't even touch your wife half the month because she's considered unclean. She can't even live in the house because she has that nasty thing where she bleeds once a month unless she's pregnant, which she always would be. So, yeah, maybe that's not an issue.
Yeah, that sounds kind of like a Ben Shapiro, kind of like a conservative or even orthodox type of apologetic. Like the laws kept people in line, and it wasn't science, but it was close to things. It's like, but we can cook now, so you should be able to eat bacon.
Or Smokey, his rationalization was, well, actually, I mean, pork's not the healthiest meat for you. It's higher in fat than some of the other meats, so therefore it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, that you should be able to eat it sometimes, though. Well, I don't want to get into a vegan debate, but yeah.
I mean, there's tons of stuff worse than pork that the Bible doesn't say anything about, so.
Yes. Well, and it's close to, I guess we're getting closer and closer to Sodom and Gomorrah, so we're getting to even more fun. We haven't even gotten into those types of laws. We're not into Leviticus, right?
No, Sodom will be in Genesis, yeah.
All right, well, let's finish this because I wanted to point out, I pointed this out to James before the show, just how short the actual passage is. We are almost actually done the actual passages from the Tower of Babel. We're going to go on another chapter to go on some more chapter fun, but the actual section
is just a few paragraphs. Yeah,
a few paragraphs
for such a colossal event. I mean, God came down to earth and directly intervened and changed everybody's language just so they couldn't build a tall tower.
And it's not like we have architects. It's not like we have like where we have a painter like Da Vinci, or you don't have any names, you don't have any people. It's just everyone came together. It got really vague again. Even though this is a more specific person, this doesn't really have a main character. It's really just the people versus God.
I mean, realistically, at this time, with their mud bricks and what else did they have in there? Their bricks and
Was it
uh,
sludge,
and the
slime,
slime.
slime?
Yeah. I mean, how tall realistically could they have? Of course, it didn't happen, but how tall you think they could build something at the time with that equipment? I'm saying maybe a couple 100 feet after that, if even that. Probably way less than that before the building would collapse under its own weight.
Yeah, and somehow this seemed to be the tower that took on Yahweh.
Triggered him, yeah.
All right, so they built a city,
I think we're
and
on 8. Is it 8
yeah,
or
I'm
7?
trying to. So the Lord scatter. Oh, you on set? Let's
7,
do
yeah.
7. I go to. Let us go down, and there confound. Oh, go to. Let us go down, and there confound their language. Oh no, that's how it's written.
Yeah.
That they may not understand one another's speech. Sometimes I don't know if it's the Bible or me. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. So they're now all on confused. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. So there we go. We have the Tower of Babel has been destroyed. We have now multiple languages, and Yahweh has, I guess, let off steam by showing those dang humans.
Yeah, that'll teach them to try to build a tower.
Yeah,
I'll fix them real quick.
I'll fix them real quick. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
send.
that's why, anytime in history when we've built like a building taller than 10 or 15 stories, God sends a tornado and just knocks it down because he can't deal with that shit, right?
Yeah, I don't know why they could have done something cool. Did they? They didn't really go into detail how he did it. Would have been cool if he sent some tornadoes, a tsunami. I guess it
I,
can't be water
I
anymore,
don't know if
but
he destroyed it or they couldn't, so they would just abandon construction on it because they couldn't understand each other anymore. So
just send in stream. Oh, I sent in the wrong. Okay. And so yeah, with that, we now have different languages and we're moving on. This is past the generations of Noah's children. And I get the feeling this is an interesting mix. This is the first time
back to boring, yeah.
we have boring and absurdity. So that interests me a little bit.
Well, I'm from the last passage, so we need to once again put Yahweh in the padded room with the straitjacket and give him some Valium to calm his ass down because he's just going off the rails here about a building. Yeah, back to the padded room, Yahweh.
Yeah, get back to calming down and not getting triggered. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, big guy. It's just a building. It's okay.
And well, we're using the King James Bible, but we're open to any version. We're just trying to take, I guess, sometimes I would say the metaphorical theists fault the atheists for taking the stories literally. but I think it also shows kind of the absurdity of the stories.
Well, the only reason they don't take them literally is because they've been proven to be implausible. So therefore they can't.
Yeah, this isn't how we got language. We
No.
look up at eater and see, but isn't Yahweh the immoral one in the story? Isn't the moral of the story that Yahweh is an asshole? Like, that's what I take away from the Tower of Babel, is that he's not a nice guy. He kind of gets triggered, and I mean, I'm trying to. I don't know if that's a generous interpretation. It's just the interpretation that I see. What do you think, James?
I don't know. I don't think you're going to find a whole lot of variance in these manuscripts right here. I mean, I think you get into more variation in the New Testament. I think the Old Testament's very, congruent. It's Yahweh on the highway.
Yahweh or the highway? So we'll see if any more excitement comes, but I get the feeling that we're gonna go back to begatting people. If anyone's playing the begatting drinking game, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the writer, they just went through all that work of writing those few paragraphs about Babel. So, they're just not going to write anything significant for, a little bit, just a few verses of begatting. Kill like 400 or 500 years worth of time so they don't have to go through and tell you what happened in that 400 or 500 years. Just a bunch of people happened.
Though it's funny, it gets really boring, and then all of a sudden it gets really violent, and you're like, ooh, like, oh,
yeah,
oh.
Probably a different author came in and was like ready to snooze, and it's like, okay, I got put something in here to keep people awake. I mean, Yahweh's got to kill somebody or blow something up or, go Arnold Schwarzenegger on everybody.
Gotta show them who's boss.
And we know when Jesus was ascending up to heaven, he looked down and said, "I'll be back."
This time it was personal. I mean, I would say we know how language evolved. You know what bothers me the most? I was just thinking about this today. It really bothers me when people in this country. I like English, but Spanish is such a Western language that it almost bothers me when people get bothered at Spanish speakers, because it's our sister language. Spanish is so Latin that that it's not funny. It is funny, and so we see where these languages evolve.
English is in a different language tree than Spanish, but I mean, they're not.
What I'm saying is
they're not the most distant. There are some similarities.
Well, they're Western Romance languages. They both come from Latin, and so they're They're very different now, and they'll keep on getting different because they'll keep on diverging.
English is a Germanic language, not a Romance language, but that's the English. Yeah, it evolved from an older dialect of German when England was settled by the Anglos and the Saxons and the Jutes. I think that would have been not long after the Roman Empire fell, and they moved out of England.
Yeah. But isn't still a Western Romance language? Still, I think it's.
I didn't think so, but I'm not 100%.
Maybe
I don't think so, but
I'm not sure. But I guess what my point is that we know how we still know how languages evolved. We still know how
Absolutely.
they started out as one thing and just slowly diverged.
Makes sense. Languages evolve just like animals. And in fact, I've used that analogy because it's a very good analogy for a biological evolution. That if you, say you had a newspaper that, one doesn't exist, but let's just say it did, going back, 2,000 years, and you every single day that you took would be the writing and everything would be very similar to the day before and the day after. Never have big jumps. But if you take one from 100 years ago and then you take one 200 years later, it's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, there was never. I think this is Matt Dillahunty's line, but there's never a Latin-speaking child that gave birth to a Spanish-speaking child.
Right. Yeah.
It was that the languages slowly changed. Slang became official, as
Right.
in the dictionary and recorded, and it just slowly changed. People drifted, and I mean, you just hear you hear in accents.
Yeah, it's
People,
so similar to biological evolution. So similar.
Yes. And yeah, and I guess we're moving on to Shem. We figured out language. We've come so far. I'm really hoping Yahweh finds peace. Like, honestly, it seemed like the humans were pretty cool and pretty had their shit together. If I'm being honest.
That's true. I mean, yeah, they were united. They weren't fighting amongst each other. They were all working together, instead of having wars and killing everybody. But I think that's what Yahweh seems to like. He seems to like the conflict and opposition.
Yeah, it didn't say it explicitly, but was there world peace? What the heck's going on? Like,
I don't know what was going on during the time all that begatting was happening. Apparently, it was nothing worth us knowing about, or they would have told us, right? So
yeah.
I don't know.
And hi, Jamie. Hi, Umi. All right. So I guess we're moving. Was I into this, or
I think we're at 10. Yeah.
We're at 10. Okay. Here we're back to begatting. Let us begin. I want to see the dichotomy here. Tell me something that's both boring and absurd. Let's see if we can do it.
Well, this is a good one because if you look over to the side, it gives ages, and they're starting to go down. They're not 900 anymore. It's starting to go down. Get closer to reality.
So crazy. I mean, I wish people lived to be 464 years old. Maybe one day, but this is backwards. People did not live that old back then. Maybe some guy lived some old, like 100 or 120. I don't know. Even that's kind of old. But it was mostly like 30, 35, if you're lucky.
Yeah, back then, if you turned like 45, that was like you were elderly because, probably 80% of people didn't make it to 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, all it would really take is one bad bacterial infection and you were done because without antibiotics or anything like that. Without access to clean, treated water, sewage.
So Babel is saying Babel is about how we as humans look up building stuff and then trying to connect with our fellow man. But wouldn't we want to connect to our fellow man? Wouldn't the goal actually be like it'd be like an opposite Tower of Babel? It would be like, and then people weren't working together, and God came down and was like, start working together, start having a single language, and then they work together. This is like everyone's happy and we're working together, and God's like, you're kind of cocky. You're kind of, I don't know, you're kind of showing off with that whole tower thing. That whole tower.
Let me knock you down a peg.
It's a nice tower he got there. Shame if something were to happen to it.
Yeah, it'd be a
am I
shame if like a
crazy?
tornado hit. I mean, yeah, who could send a tornado to do that?
Yeah. I think we've been trying to transfer data to each other for a very long time.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, so these are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and here we go, and begat Aphoxad 2 years after the flood. Oh, I like how they add that. They're telling us after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat, of course he did, Aphoxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. What were their names? You don't need to know. And Aphoxad lived 530 years and begat Salah. And Aphoxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years. It's weird how they wrote that. And begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Reu. You know what I just realized in the middle of this story that has nothing to do with it? You're right. It's French and Spanish are Romance languages that share in common with Latin. You are absolutely right. I'm sorry. This is my brain doing two things at once, but you're right.
You're trying to put your brain in Bible mode.
But my point was just that French and Spanish are so different, and yet they still come from Latin, and that's the parent.
I think most of our modern languages are at least in part related to Latin.
Yeah, and I mean, just trying to understand syntax and how we come up with syntax. I love to point out that and use as often as I can that I can create the same gibberish or speaking in tongues that the Pentecostals do. And it's not a magic trick. It's using the same structure of a language, but then by filling in other things. I could sit here and go okuka onoma intaka a okataka mate el sakatepa abasata, just because it's the same language, but it's what they're doing, except they are giving it some kind of holy connotation.
Like Robert Tilton.
Yeah.
He was a televangelist. He's still around, but yeah, he used to do that tongue crap back in like the 90s, I think.
Yes, I actually think that's where the Noah story happened. It actually happened in a gas station restaurant. Okay, so we're almost through. Honestly, this chapter is enlightening. I'm gaining so much wisdom. Back to that begatting combo. And Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years. Just a short 430 years. On the 429th, he was like, I think I'm getting old.
Yeah, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, he was like, 400 years. I can understand, but it's starting to get a little old. And okay, are you serious? Oh, and Peleg lived 30 years. Okay, they're adding that. I thought it just was like, and they all lived 400 years, and then Peleg was like 30. They're just like, screw Peleg. And
yeah, what happened to Peleg?
Okay, no, I don't know what this is. They say Peleg lived 30 years, but then I think they're going to give him back life. Here we go. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years. I like how the women in this story are really just for begatting.
I mean, what else would you do with them?
Like, think about it. Has there been, except for Eve, who frigged up everything, has there been a woman in the stories? They do anything?
Nothing of note, nothing of significance, except for begatting babies.
Begatting babies. Oh, well. Christian women, you have a future to look forward to.
The Quiverful movement.
And Ryu lived 230 years and begat, and 200. And Ryu lived after he begat Sereg 207 years and begat sons and daughters. And Sereg lived 30 years and begat Naor. And Sereg lived after he begat Naor at 200 years and begat sons and daughters. And Naor, I keep on wanting to say Eor, and Naor lived 920 years and begat Terah, and Naor lived after he begat Terah and 119 years and begat sons and daughters, and Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Naor, and Haran.
Oh, we got somebody important.
Yeah, I mean, with interesting material like this, I feel like, how can you not be on the edge of your seat? Okay, so
can't wait to see what happens next.
I know. We're getting into looks like some feminism over here, so I'm interested to see what's about to happen. So we're on to Abraham, Sarah, and Lot. Oh, yeah, we're getting to some famous names. Travel to Haran. Now, these are the generations of Terah. We've left Noah. Whole new generations. Terah begat Abraham, Naor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot, just in case you weren't paying attention. And Haran died because he sucked. I'm just kidding. Before his father Terah, in the land of his nativity, in Ura of the Chaldeans. Seems fancy.
Ur of the Chaldees.
Of the Chaldeans? Is that supposed to mean something?
I don't know. That's just the name of it. Ur of the Chaldees.
We can look here. Ura of the Chaldeans. It's probably a reference to the city of Ur in southern Mesopotamia in present-day Iraq. Okay. And Abram and Naor took them wives, whether they wanted to or not. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarah, and the name of Naor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Isaac. But Sarah was barren. She had no child. Uh-oh.
What good is she?
I know. Excuse me. Women only have one job here. If you can't be begatting, I mean, what left is there?
Picking fruit off the wrong tree. That's the only other thing they've done so far.
Ooh, I just realized we haven't gotten into any of the, I want to say, the juicy sacrifices yet. I'm just realizing some famous names coming up. And Terah took Abraham, his son, and Lot, the son of Haran. We did have some animal sacrifices, but I feel like God is, I guess, he seems to up his ante every time.
Push the envelope just a little further.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. It's just like drugs. You sacrifice one thing, leads to another. Before you know it, you're sacrificing people on altars. It's a terrible thing. I've seen it happen a million times.
I mean, Yahweh just loves the smell of burning flesh. Not to eat it, not because he needs to eat, but just because.
Just because. Good smell. It's kind of like, you know how you ever put those Glad plugins Yahweh kind of does that. He kind of has people just sacrifice animals, and then it's just like goat.
Well, I mean, he wasn't down with the fruit and vegetables that Cain tried to give him. He got triggered by that.
Yeah, it's like a good Xmas turkey, except you don't eat the turkey. All of the horrible, none of the food. Okay. Dun dun dun. This would have been either a commercial break when they figured out she was barren, or it would have been the next episode, or it would have been like the season finale. Because are you telling me there's a woman who can't be begotten? I mean, come on now.
I mean, how do they know she's barren? What has he just been having
true.
sex with her for years and years, and she just never gets pregnant? So they're just saying, she must be barren. She has no ovaries or something going wrong in there.
See, now I'm just imagining 2,000 years ago, but there's still like the piss test somehow. Oh, see, now you're just going to make me hungry. And I'm not sure. Uh-oh. I don't know.
Jail.
I'm open-minded. Let's see. No child. And Terah took Abraham, his son, and Lot, and son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarah, his daughter-in-law. Hey, someone had a daughter-in-law. It's the first time I've mentioned daughter-in-laws.
In-laws.
His son, in-laws.
Of any kind.
His son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ura of that thing that you said, Chalids, and go into the land, Chaldeans, and go into the land of Canaan, and they came onto Haran all over the place and dwelt there. That's what it says.
They made a big mess.
Big mess. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. I like when they tell us someone dies just because it always seems sudden. There's never a reason. And it's just like they were doing stuff, and then they died.
Yeah, it doesn't say why, I guess. Not that had a heart attack or slipped and fell, just he died.
Yeah, it's not like... and then Moses died of syphilis. The end. All right, they dwelled here. And the days of Terah were 205 years.
Yeah,
okay, they died.
Yeah.
Okay, so what chapter? We're on chapter 11. We're moving along. Probably do like another 2.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we got a cross here.
Wow.
We got injustice.
So, yeah, this is unjust, absurd. I wonder what is this going on here? Not sure what that one is. I think this is kind of self-explanatory. We're getting into... I bet this is some Jado-Christian type of thing.
I don't know what it's crossed with a flag on it, but I don't know what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah, well, hold on. Well, give me 1 second. Let's take a look and see.
The key.
So we have absurdity. Cross it.
Politics. Okay, that's what the cross meant.
Politics. Gotcha.
And the injustice, and what was the other one? The question mark.
Book interpretation. So maybe there's different interpretations depending on what Bible you have. Maybe this is where where the King James and the new, what is it called? The NIV.
Yeah, there's a million of them. American Standard, NIV, there's the Catholic version.
Yeah, and I honestly think a lot of the times some of the versions just try and soften it. try and change like slave to servant. Not always, but some versions try and do that.
They try to paint it in the best light possible, you know.
I wonder if the people who wrote the Old Testament would believe you if you would tell them 2,000 years later that people would still believe it. No. I think that is the craziest thing. I think because I can't imagine like, Jesus and buddies just sitting there smoking some ganja going, could you imagine this 2,000 years? Nah, they would never believe. Coming back from the dead. They're not going to believe. Write that down. Write that down. Come back from the dead.
Hey, Mark, what about that shit about me cursing the fig tree, right? We'll get to that one when Jesus gets mad at the tree and has a conversation with the tree, and yeah, very compelling.
Conversation with the tree?
Yeah, because he ran ahead of the disciples. They were in the back, but they heard him yelling and talking to the tree, so they heard about it. So he must have been talking pretty loud. And then he got mad at the tree, got triggered by the tree because it wasn't fig season.
Triggered by the tree.
So, yeah, because it wasn't fig season, so he got mad at the tree because of the time of year that it was.
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit weird. I don't know why that, and
it's like punishing the snake.
That's another thing I'd like to get up to is where they get the passage for like snake handling.
Oh, that's in the New Testament. Yeah, it says they will pick up serpents and drink poison, and nothing will hurt them.
And that can be empirically tested.
They claim to be in some of the services drinking poison. I don't know how potent it is, or if it's really deadly, or if it's a very watered down dose. But I somehow doubt that it's full strength strychnine, or what's the other one?
So there have been guys who died, not many. So they're generally pretty good
from the snake
salesmen.
Yeah, I mean the snake handlers. Yeah, every once in a while one of them will get bit, but it's. Have you ever seen any videos on that or anything like that?
I haven't. I've only seen atheists talk about it, but I'd love to.
I mean, it's actually downright cruel what they do in a lot of these churches. They will, because they're trying to show their faith, so they're intentionally trying to aggravate the snake so that they can show, look, I'm doing all this crazy stuff with him. I'm provoking the snake because I know that God will protect me. So, I mean, they'll be flailing these snakes around, and some churches, they'll put them on the floor and start jumping up and down on these poor snakes. And this is just an animal that got pulled out of some hole in the wild. It wants nothing to do with people. And, yeah. Gets used as a prop.
I've never been a fan of let's say how many theists view other animals. It has always just been a very top down. We are the rulers. We can do whatever the hell we want with them, and so not all of them. I know. Well, I mean now we know. I mean.
The Bible says, he gave man the dominion over the animals, so therefore we can do whatever we want with them because God gave them to us.
Exactly. And it shows in the order of creation of things. Just, obviously he doesn't care that much about the creeping things and cares much more about the two people that he put in the middle of Eden and said, don't eat this friggin' tree.
Yeah.
Snake.
Damn snake.
Snake. Exactly.
Talk about Canaan.
Talk about Canaan. What could possibly go wrong with Canaan? I hear all the other Christians talk so many nice things. Nothing could go possibly wrong. Now the Lord has said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, from thy father's house, unto a land, and I will show thee. and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing, and a blessing, and a blessing, and I could bless you. I get you. Oh wow! I mean, it's not even. I'm almost not paraphrasing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curse thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Hold on 1 second. Kitty goes in, kitty goes out.
Yep, you can't explain it.
I know. Exactly. That would be a funny meme. Now I want to see a meme of kitties going in and out.
You can't explain that to the thieves.
Can't explain that.
So we have here.
When I first saw that, I'm amazed.
We just have Yahweh arbitrarily picking this one guy out of nowhere and making a deal with him, Abram.
Yeah, every once in a while, you get like Yahweh gets a new like chosen hero, like a new guy that's like, okay, this is my dude. I'm gonna bless him. I'm gonna set him up, and nothing's gonna go wrong. And every time it goes wrong.
Yeah, they still manage to do things to piss him off, even after they're his guy. Like, Adam, you're my man. You're my main man, Adam. Just don't eat that fruit, okay? And we're cool. Fuck, he ate the damn fruit.
Ate the damn fruit. But then he knew that it was coming. I don't know why. Also kinky. But yes.
Somehow, anytime you say that, I just imagine Smokey Saint just barging in and saying, that's predeterminism. He loves to throw that around.
I'm surprised they haven't come. We should invite them on more. It'd be fun.
I would, yeah.
Fun to have Smokey or Praise on.
Even Maddox.
Hey, I would have any of them on. Okay, so I'm losing my track. And I will bless them. Oh, here we had the blessing. Yeah. So Abraham departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. So Abraham was 75 years old? Man, that's it. They're old guys doing a lot. Not that 75 is particularly old, but I will say that they do seem to be doing a lot of action, especially like a 600-year-old guy, I do have to say. Quite spry, all these characters.
Yeah, definitely.
And Abraham took Sarai as his wife. Say as his wife, just as and Abraham took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. I'm gonna just keep on making the same joke. Yep. You guys can do that yourself. Yeah,
do it every time.
Every time. Abraham, I miss ham sandwich already. See, I can't do. And Abraham passed through the land onto the place of Shechem, onto the place of Moriah, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abraham, unlike he does for everyone else, which would be nice. I don't know why he seems to show up so much in the Old Testament for all these people. And
he does it for Paul in the New Testament, but yeah, he does it a lot more in the Old Testament.
Yeah, he's popping up all the time.
Yeah, why not? He's omniscient. He can do whatever he wants. Sometimes, some chapters he is. Then he's not. Then he'll be omniscient again. You know.
And he can do everything except for not screw things up.
Yeah, that's not on the prerequisite list.
Like,
Yeah.
he really is kind of like the Charlie Brown of deities. Like, each time the humans are like, we're not going to fuck this up. We're not going to mess this up for you. You have a plan. Come on, God. Kick the football. Come on, God. Come on, Yahweh. Why would we fuck this up for you? Come on. You had a plan. And every time Yahweh's like, I got my new guys this time. Okay,
He's
I got it.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, and every time he goes in and yeah, like Charlie Brown, like Wile E. Coyote, the
It
he hits
always
the
blows up in his
wall,
face. Yeah.
the football gets pulled out from under him, and he just goes. That was a wonderful sound, wasn't it? But he just
Appropriate.
complains.
Yeah, appropriate. Yeah, he's the Forrest Gump of deities.
And yeah, there was once Matt Dillahunty ran a wiki. I'm not 100% sure they still do. I think it's actually fallen out of use. But there was an awesome wiki called the Iron Chariots because there's a passage I believe coming up that says that they got defeated by Iron Chariots, or that God got defeated by Iron Chariots.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry though; they'll have rationalizations, and Smokey's dealt with that one before too. Yeah, because the user Iron Charioteer, you know who he is, right?
Yes, I love the Iron Charioteers.
Yeah, I love he's a great. Yeah, he's great. I love him. But he was in Smokey's room one night, and after a while, Smokey will just time him out. You know, when he gets tired of failing to answer his questions, and then he said he hopes God on the judgment day makes Iron Charioteer ride a chariot to the judgment just before picking him up and telling him he was the dumbest person that ever lived and tossing him into hell. So,
oh, some of the theists are very elegant at how they will tell you that you will burn. It's quite amusing and almost joyful. And when I mean almost joyful,
oh yeah,
a lot of times they say joyful.
like it. Yeah, yeah. They'll be roasting marshmallows over the fires, you know, in heaven.
Yeah, hanging over heaven so they can, as any moral person would, they would be, just be all peachy dory.
And telling God, you're doing a really good job burning those people down there. You're doing good, God. Yeah, I really like how you designed hell. It's good.
Yeah, it's perfect and amazing, and we should be praising you forever and ever and ever.
Oh, hi, Mom. You wave down there. Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Hey, my children are down there, and they're burning. Woohoo!
Praise God.
Praise God. It's okay, James. You just got to understand the plan. Understand the plan. The plan that humans mess up consistently. But
it was a perfect plan. It was a good plan. It's just we fucked it up, you know.
I know. Those pesky humans. And the Lord appeared unto Abraham and said, unto thy seed will I give this land. They are making these jokes. I'm just okay. Hey,
they talking about his sperm? Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Thank you. At least you said it for me, because I was just going to keep on making as many jokes, and will continue to keep on making jokes.
Let's hear about Abraham's semen.
Hey, let's see. I mean, sometimes you just got to get your seed out onto the land. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just got to be out onto the earth. And yeah, we got to go out into the altar, to the Lord who appeared unto him. Oh, baby. And he removed from thence onto a mountain. That sentence could have went anywhere. I should have said that slower. And he removed from thence his mountain on the east of Bethel. and pitched. I can't even. The Bible's setting me up for this. And pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east. Oh wow, it's a three. They got one person to the west and one person to the east, and we currently have our tent pitched. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord right on top of him, and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abraham journeyed, going on still toward the south, deeper and deeper. Okay, I just wanted to get through that.
I don't think Yahweh has told Abraham yet about the whole cutting off part of his dick thing, because I imagine if he would have talked about that, Abraham would have said, "No thanks, I'm out of here."
Yeah, where do we get into circumcision?
It's going to be coming up soon. Yeah, I'm sure. It's we'll get there soon enough, but I don't think he's told Abraham about that yet, or he probably would have ditched this guy.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because there's been a lot of begatting. So is
I guess there was no problem yet.
Yeah, Moses really screws things up then. With all those 600 rules. Whew. We shouldn't even get into Leviticus. And all right.
Oh, we'll get there.
Sarah lies for Abraham the first time. Oh, okay. Just the first time. So we got some good old feminism values. What is that? I think this is biblical family values. Absurdity. Oh, excuse me. What is the check marks here? Sex. Sexy X. No wonder. Say, I'm only slightly enhancing the Bible. It's funny. I could say I'm sexing it up, but half of the Bible so far has been sex. It's been very boring sex, but it's been nothing but begatting.
Yeah, but no details on it, so very vague.
Yes, and I mean, if you think about it, 600-year-old people, 7-year-old people, I think almost up to 900. A 900-year-old man on top of someone. I mean, talking about blessings. Bless the woman that has that 900-year-old man. So, and with that mental thought that I love to give everyone, though it's really the Bible. Just saying, really the Bible. What's this lovely thing? I get the feeling we're about to let some genocide, some good old cruelty and violence. All right.
Violence.
Here we go. Look, the world loves sex, but we Americans, I mean, come on. We gotta spice things up a little bit. All right. Sarah lies for Abraham the first time, which implies, I guess, there's going to be more times.
We'll see, but probably, yeah.
We'll see. I know. Boring sex. All right. And there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went down into Egypt to sojourn there, and for the famine was grievous in the land. It sounds like we're setting up a video game now. And it came to pass when he was come near, as you English you do. When he was come near to enter into Egypt, and he said unto Sarah his wife, Behold now, I know thou art a fair woman to look upon. Oh, he's checking her out.
Yeah, he likes what he sees.
He likes what he sees. Therefore it shall come to pass when the Egyptians... Wow, okay, we're getting really specific now. We're getting into groups that at least I'm starting to recognize. When the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Okay, let's take this in a second. Wait. Therefore it shall come to pass when the Egyptians shall see thee that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Therefore the Egyptians will say, this is his wife, and they'll kill me, but keep you alive.
Oh, okay.
I mean, okay.
Hard-hitting theological issues, yep.
Yeah. Made you perfect. God, I made you perfect. Okay, now let's change that as I again change my mind. Don't worry, I will change my mind again and again. Oh, yeah, that seems to be a common theme. If God is so perfect and we're made in the image, you would think we'd be a little bit more perfect. If we're made in his image and we're this messed up, what does that say about God?
Well, I mean, I guess we just hate him, so yeah.
I know, we
We
hate
just
him.
hate him. We hate
I'll
him.
be honest. This far in, hate is not the emotion that I have. Like, the silly bar is like through the roof.
Yeah, it's like a 12.5 on the bullshit scale.
Yeah, I mean,
See, I don't know how anybody could read this and not come to with the conclusion that this is the babblings of Bronze Age man, but
like I understand only when you get into the super, like I'm smoking a pipe, let's understand the context and let's understand what the metaphor is, but you would have to severely cherry pick and edit. Like we can cut out 2/3 of what we've read so far and make it probably more, and make it a more interesting and better book. Well,
yeah,
yeah.
because instead of wasting time with reading insignificant things and trying to remember that, you can just focus on what's important.
And it's just done us so much damage. Like, because of all this gosh darn begatting, we now need to listen to creationists tell us what the age of the earth. I cannot even imagine what a PhD physics major, a professor, must think when people just come up to them and they're like, I know how the universe began.
Yeah, like they come up and ask the professor what caused the Big Bang or what happened before the Big Bang, and they say, I don't know. Nobody knows. They say, I know. I know.
Yeah, I know. And for those just listening, I opened up a Bible. Yeah.
With a warning label on the cover.
I love my Skeptic's Annotated Bible, the hard copy. I'm very proud of it. And so we're just getting up to some scary text. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister. I'm gonna hope that doesn't sound like what I think it says in my head. I'm a nasty mofo, but the Bible just insinuates so many weird things, and it really doesn't seem wrong with incest. I feel like we're never going to get the commandment of the incest, or of not owning slaves, or of all the other things that the Christians say they're against, but there's actually no evidence for that in the Bible.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and for my soul shall live because of thee. So tell them you are my sister, so things will go well. Okay, so this chick is his wife, and she's gonna pretend to be his sister because she's so hot. Is that what I'm picking up from this?
I think Yahweh, instead of beaming them the right knowledge, accidentally beamed them Star Wars the bit between Luke and Leia?
You're not too far off, Aunt Jerry. You're not too far off. All right, so they're praying that. I mean, this is exciting. I guess we're hiding someone as his sister, and he's telling her a lie for her, which is a little weird, but okay. And it came to pass that when Abraham was come into Egypt, and the Egyptians behold the woman, that she was very fair. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into the Pharaoh's house. That happened quickly. That happened really quickly. I guess he was right. I mean, he took his wife here, and instantly everyone was like, wow, is she so hot? Let's present her to the Pharaoh. And now the Pharaoh is going to have sex with her. It's a good thing I told the Pharaoh, I guess I'm his sister. And he entered Abraham well for her sake. So I can't even tell what is a euphemism and what's not anymore. And he had sheep and oxen and he asses and men servants and maid servants and she asses and camels. And I'm reading that paragraph again.
She asses.
That it's so funny. And he entreated Abraham well for her sake. He entreated her well. Good for him. And he had sheep and oxen and he asses and men servants and maid servants and she asses and camels. All right.
Joe Camel. He had Camel cigarettes.
Camel. And guess who's about to get triggered again?
Let's find out.
And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarah, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast undone unto me? Sounds like a little Shakespearean. Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, she is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife? Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her, and go thy way. So I'm just going to read some of the subtext. God sent great plagues on the Pharaoh and his household because the Pharaoh believed Abraham's lie. Pharaoh called Abraham and said, what have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me Sarah was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister? See, the plan just fell right apart. She's my sister, so I would take her as my wife. Now go, take your wife and leave. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. And what was the moral to the story? What are we doing here?
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, these are so okay.
It's just naming random events that never happened.
Yeah. All right. I think this will be the last chapter of the night because I think after this, we're coming up on the infamous Sodom and Gomorrah. But let's still get through one more fun-filled chapter, as you can see by the lonesome, boring face.
Yeah, at this point, Yahweh is like, yeah, remembering the glory days of the flood. And, he's like, I gotta destroy something again.
I know.
What am I going to destroy now? Yeah, I mean, he just killed everybody on Earth except for one family. It's been a few years. Who's next?
Yeah, gotta get the vengeance out. Gotta get that. He hasn't even said his name is jealous yet. Of all the passages, that's the one I know. But it's like you can't get over simple emotions that humans can get over, that we can train our dog. I love our puppies and dogs. We could train our puppies to get over jealousy. You can't get over jealousy. I don't know. I don't know where this all knowing, all powerful, and all good. I love how they try and sneak all good in sometimes, because to me, that's such a subjective term. Like all knowing, all powerful. That's so vague that our brains have a hard time processing it. But all good always seems like it just seems so bullshitty. Doesn't that seem bullshitty to you, the all good thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's like him reviewing his own creation and telling himself he did a good job.
Yeah. And he made it, and it was good. Was it good? Was it 4-star rated? Okay.
Yes, it was good. I did a good job. Abe, okay. Nothing could go wrong now with Yahweh on the case. Praise I am that I am. He's got a few aliases. Yeah, he's got a few aliases, but it's the same dude.
Hey, praise, come on the channel. I'm not Chinese, but come on the channel. I love everybody, all of them. And Abraham went up out of Egypt. He and his wife, and he got Netflix. No, he didn't.
And his male servants, and his females, maidservants, and his oxen, and his cattle, and his sheep, and his deers.
I want to know where the asses were. We were just talking about asses, and then they just disappeared.
Pharaoh probably kept them for himself.
I know. He's like, well, if you're going to take your sister wife, well, at least let me have the asses.
The she-ass, yeah.
Yeah. And all that he had. And Lot with him. Is Lot like just a side character? It's so funny. You know some of these names.
Or I think he's related somehow. I'm not sure.
He's somehow. It's so funny because I'm pretty sure he dies. So it's like, I know you die. But that's so terrible because he's like such a random character so far. And Lot with him into the south. And Abraham was very rich in cattle, silver, and gold. And all the three of those things are equal. And he went on his journeys. It just shows you this freaking time period. A very modern, futuristic book where we can talk about where all things are equal: cattle, silver, and gold. And he went on to his journeys from the south, even to Bethel. Even to Bethel? Damn.
He didn't stop there. He went all the way. All the way.
Going all the way. Even to Bethel. I keep on wanting to say Bethlehem, but it's just Bethel. Bethel, onto the place where his tent had been at the beginning. You know, where he pitched his tent. Where his tent was pitched. It was a very big tent.
It was somewhere.
It was somewhere.
It was somewhere. Yeah, somewhere.
Somewhere between his camels and his asses. Beginning between, we're so childish. I can't help. Between Bethel and Hai, onto the place of the altar, which he had. I want to say which he had made. It says which he had make there at the first, where he Englished very long. And there Abraham called on the name of the Lord. I like how they like to capitalize Lord. Got to make sure, just in case you forget. And Lot also, which went with Abraham, had flocks and herds and tents.
Well, Lord in that case, I guess a proper noun, because it's only one Lord that they're talking about. Yahweh, I am that I am. El Shaddai, when he, because sometimes he goes by the name of Canaanite gods when he's just spoofing people.
Oh, is that where the I am that I am thing?
No, he told Moses to tell Pharaoh, because Moses is like, well, who do I tell Pharaoh sent me? And he said, I am that I am. Okay, I am that I am. But
That's
he
a
also uses
deity.
the name El Shaddai, which, if you remember, the Canaanites had a god with a similar name. It was El Shaddai. It's the same fucking name. Yeah.
It's almost, and it's painful when I hear them go off on the Canaanites, even though I don't know. I hear them; they're always like, "Would you want them?" They were bashing baby skulls against I don't know, whatever story, but I'm pretty sure that the Canaanites were very similar to the Israelites, and that it's just really kind of a branch, and that it's kind of a brother and sister feud.
I mean, you could look
And,
at any culture and find, you know, undesirable things that are going on in that culture. And if you want to use
well,
that as an excuse to kill them all, you can do that with anybody.
exactly. Well, two things about that. Number one, 100%. If you are bashing if you're saying, well, they're bashing kids skulls in, and then your response is time to genocide them, even the children, isn't that the exact same thing? And
Yeah, pretty much. Very similar. As opposed to just telling them, hey guys, you know that thing you guys are doing with the kids? Stop doing that shit.
yeah, and I don't understand. I just don't understand why a god just can't just come down there. I guess Thanos has warped my brain, because that is my. Why can't he Thanos snap? Just do the things. Why are we doing um Friends Genesis version? Why is it a sitcom? Why do we have to go through all this trouble?
And if you think about it, why would he even need angels? You know, if he's omniscient, he can do anything he wants without effort. Why does he need to create these angels to be messengers and do shit for him? You know, he can do anything he wants with zero exertion. He's not going to get tired. He's not going to, you know, need a break or whatever. He can do whatever he wants all the time.
Yeah. And what he seems to like doing is getting messed over, getting messed up, getting messed over, having things not go his way. I'm waiting for the one story where it just went, and then everything was awesome. Yahweh was happy. He liked the humans that were in front of him. The original sin, that's true. But right now we're just we're begotten.
Right now, they're operating under natural law because God hasn't given them the commandments yet. So
That's true.
they wouldn't be held responsible for ceremonial laws that they didn't break, but the natural law, you know, things that are inherently wrong, just based on common sense, like killing, stealing, robbing, you know, rape, murder. All those things are, you know, you don't need to be told not to do them. It's just natural.
Yeah, which means we're coming up to a time when we're going to read 600 laws. It's gonna
It's
be.
coming, yeah.
It's coming. All right, so let's finish up for the night. Abraham went out of Egypt, got our gold and silver, went on a journey from south even to Bethel. It's gonna be my joke all night. I don't like it. I see you guys in chat. Even Bethel.
Even Bethel.
Because the Bible says that as if the person reading would be like, what? So I'm now
as if there's a distinction between these places. Yeah.
So now I want to imagine a scribe just sitting there with like his glasses and pen and paper, and just being like, "Oh my word!"
Yeah. Amy went to the supermarket to go shopping. She even went down the cereal aisle. Even that aisle she went down.
My word. All right. So and he went on his journeys from the south, even blah, 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 on the place, the altar, which you could make there at first. And there Abraham called on the name of the Lord, as he does, because they were tight. They were like this.
And
That's
the
how he
Lord
called
said,
on them.
Abraham, come on the altar, Abraham, come upon the altar.
They do make that euphemism a lot. Okay, it's not even us. It is us being that childish, but in our defense, they don't make it easy on us. Okay,
Yeah,
they don't make it easy on.
Yahweh made sure to give us enough rope to hang ourselves with.
Yeah, exactly. While we were making more masturbation jokes. Okay, and Lot also, which went in with Abraham, had flocks and herds and tents, as you do. Abraham and Lot split up.
Dun,
And
dun,
the
dun.
land, dun, 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 and the land was not able to bear them, and they might dwell together. Okay, they're definitely getting, I'm just saying, they're being a little bit too close here, maybe just close enough. For their substance was great, so that they could dwell together. And there was strife between the herdmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's camel. And the Canaanite and the Pizzeria dwelled then in the land. And Abraham said unto Lot, let there be no strife. I pray thee between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. That almost started to sound like song lyrics. Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee. Okay.
Did you see the interview Thunderfoot did with Westboro Baptist Church? This is like probably 8 years ago, 8 years ago, and it was funny because it was like the verse 2 verses ago, and Thunderfoot's like, I have proof from the Bible that God is okay with homosexuality, and of course they're like, okay, where's your proof? And he talks about the verse in Revelation where it talks about two men being in the same bed.
I'm not even gonna lie. It's because my brain is nasty, but that is where my brain went instantly. So I was like, hey, if they want to, maybe they're roommates. Maybe they're roommates.
Yeah, it says two men will be in bed and one will be gone and the other will be left there. But yeah, I guess it's just two men who just decided to sleep in the same bed just for no reason at all.
Once again, Jesus just likes to hang out with the boys. Just hanging out with the boys.
Yeah, he's only got a couple girls in his circle, but yeah, it's mostly a sausage.
That's true. He did have the prostitute. Okay. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate myself, I pray thee. Thou will take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I'll go to the left. Oh, if you go to the right,
left, to the left, to the left,
I'll go to the left.
To the left, to the left, to the left.
Now, let's do some prophesizing, since I imagine nothing could go wrong here. This is called Lot chooses Sodom for his new home. I imagine nothing could go wrong. I feel like this is a good land choice, good property value.
He had a shitty real estate agent, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that may be his downfall. It might look too nice. And Lot lifted up his eyes. Oh, he's looking. And beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Lord, destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou come onto Zoar. Oh, see, I wanted to wait till this. We may actually, I may read this and then end there so we can read it again. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abraham dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, that pitched his tent toward Sodom, but the men of Sodom were wicked and the sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Okay, I may actually exceedingly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting to Sodom and Gomorrah. I think this is.
It's a natural stopping point. Yeah.
I can't tell if he destroyed it in that sentence, or we're getting, or we're about to destroy it.
He's about to.
It's about to destroy it.
He's going to get triggered. Yeah, they haven't sent the angels in there yet. Because remember, the angels are going to come down to see Lot and have that meeting with him.
Oh, that's right. He hasn't invited the angels in to know him yet.
And yeah, then the gay people outside the door want to come in and see the angels, and he says, "Take my daughter."
Right. Yeah. All right, then I'm gonna read the last two lines with more emphasis because I was going to that really fast, and then we'll finish up to this chapter, and that will conclude the whole lot of Babel and get us all nice and excited for Sodom and Gomorrah.
Exceedingly
excited.
So yeah, we'll be here tomorrow night at some point after my debate. We're going to have the after show here. So
that's right. We're also going to have a debate, or not a debate, an after show. Actually, Modern Day Debate is going to have a debate tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Missing 411 with our very own James W. versus T-Jump. So that's going to be Clash of Titans fun. And then we're going to have the after show here, and we're going to have an open mic for whoever wants to talk about that.
Open mic and open bar.
Open mic, open bar. And so we're going to pull into the end. Let's get through the end of the Tower of Babel, though it has been eye-opening. I will say, each time we do this, I really do feel like I am learning. It may not be getting me closer to Christianity and Judaism. If anything, it's pushing me even further in the opposite direction. Because holy moly. Holy moly.
It's you hear a lot of stuff when Christians talk about it, and a lot of it you probably didn't really understand because you didn't read it before. But now that you're reading it, you're starting to connect dots and say, "Oh, that's what that meant, or that's what they were talking about. That's why they say that."
And a lot of it is like, it's so famous that it's almost like it can't be that silly, or it can't be that short. Like the actual Tower of Babel we blasted through. I'm going to linger on that because things like that, we then have to deal with Bishop Ussher's chronology. Ooh, excuse me. And all sorts of, just because they use the word kind, they're throughout Noah, and now we have to deal with kind with every creationist that comes our way.
Creeping kind, the beast kind, the foul kind.
So it is interesting, and like I said before, it's easy to see where you get a mentality of human, things that kind of look human, and other creatures and plants below it, because that's kind of how the Bible designates them. So it's easy to see where you can develop that mindset from.
And same thing with the misogyny and everything, because the Bible lays that out. Yeah. It's there.
I'm pretty sure women are in here. Women are in here, right? We saw women. Oh, they were getting begatted. Right. Begatted.
And Adam told him to rule over his wife. So therefore, Adam's the boss.
Yeah. Adam's the boss. Even though Eve is totally the boss in that relationship. Can I just say, I don't want to use cuck and simp too much, but I'm pretty sure we know who is in charge of that relationship.
Well, Adam didn't have any other options until he had daughters born, and then I guess that would have been an option according to the Bible, but his pickings were slim at that point. So,
it truly is amazing. And one last thing before I go back into reading. So we now have 3 official titles for women. We have begotten, which I hope anyone playing our drinking game now is alcohol poisoning. We have Adam and Eve, where Eve messes everything up. And we have that dude's sister wife, where she lied. So
not
we're
sure
getting
exactly why, but yeah.
I
didn't really understand why.
What was the point of that story?
I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I'll get back. Once again, we see why some passages are a little bit more quoted than others.
You could just leave that part out of the Bible, and it wouldn't really change any fundamental meaning or anything.
We could have got this chapter we started with before we actually did the actual chapter of Bible. You could have removed that entire chapter. Now, I'm sure maybe, I don't know, maybe there was one character that attached it to the other, but good. Take the 1 or 2 characters that attach the narratives, cut out the other 50 or 60 friggin' people that are begatting.
Yeah, you don't need to name every single person alive on the earth.
That's funny that this would be a common. I had no idea the Bible was like this many name checking. I feel like gonna get frickin' J.J. Abrams. It's funny. I'm looking at this. Like just random people are gonna come out of here. Okay, Abraham dwelled into the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled into the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. They make these sentences themselves, okay? He pitched his tent toward Sodom. I'm just quoting the Bible, people. Just quoting the Bible.
Like, hey, what's going on over there?
Yeah, what are you doing? But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. It doesn't tell us why yet. It just says they are wicked and sinners.
It's skimpy on the details, but it's tradition. Yeah.
God promises to give Abraham everything else. And the Lord said unto Abraham, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes and look from the place where thou art northward and southward and eastward and westward. Good thing I covered all 4 bases.
And even westward, even west.
Even westward?
Even Kanye West is in the Bible.
For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. Kinky. For I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Then Abraham removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. And just to wrap that, I'll say, and after Abraham and Lot split up, God said to Abraham, look around you, north, south, east, and west. Everything you see, I will give to your descendants forever, for you are my son, Simba, and I'll make your descendants as numerous as the dust of the earth. Get up and walk through the land. I will give it to you. After God had finished speaking, Abraham picked up his tent and went to Hebron, where he built an altar to God. Woohoo!
Very informative.
Yeah, so We made it through the Tower of Babel.
Amazingly, we made it.
Amazingly.
I still think about 3/4 of it could have been left out, but
And I've heard of that before, Andrew. I've had someone push back on that to me, but that might have actually been a Christian. So I think there was like I said, Adam is wrapped around all these women's fingers. It's so funny that
yeah, that wouldn't be in the
God,
Catholic Bible, but there's apocryphal books. The Apocrypha, those were writings that were determined not to be authentic or that couldn't be verified, the authorship. So people were reading them, but they're not part of the canon, except for the Catholics, which they have a few of the Apocrypha in their canon, but there's apocryphal books on Adam and Eve. One is, I think it's called the Gospel of Adam and Eve, I think that's what it's called. It goes through like stories about what happened after the fall, and one of the stories said they made a deal with God that if they stand on one leg in the river for so long that God will let them back in the garden. I think that's what it said. Like 40 days to just stand in the river on one leg, and God will let them back in the garden. But the devil came and he tricked them into putting their other leg down and walking out of the river. So because he appeared as God and said, "Okay, you guys can come out. You guys are good now. Come back into the garden." As soon as they got out, the devil said, "Ha ha ha! Fuck you."
yeah, because keeps on messing up.
Yeah, but I mean, 90% of Christians wouldn't consider that to be gospel or authoritative, but it's just one of the many spurious writings that's out there.
Yep. And so with that, I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank Aunt Jur. I want to thank Doorknob. I want to thank
Gary,
Robert, Tony, Gary. In fact, Gary, you are welcome to come on. We miss you being on. I feel bad every time you come on. I'm like, who's that name? It's like Gary. We love you, Gary. We love you, Gary.
the
It's my
avatar is always
brain.
the
Yeah.
same. So that's how I know. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm going to say, I think, unless you have anything else to say, James?
No, I don't think so. Just thank everybody for being with us at this unusual hour, but
Yeah, exactly.
Just when the time worked out today. We had some things going on earlier, but
it ended up working out. And if you see this, Jim, we heart you. I feel bad this happened in the middle of the night, but we'll have more. There is plenty of Babel to come.
Yeah, I mean, he can come on during the after show tomorrow if he wants to make any comments
That's
about
true.
the tell us why we're wrong. There you go.
Exactly. And so with that, that's going to conclude Skeptic Bible Study, episode 3, a whole lot of babble. I look forward to you guys joining us later in Sodom and Gomorrah. But until that time, I hope you keep on being skeptical and have a fantastic night.